What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is Dave Wallace and I'm here to help you win with money so you can build your wealth. Consider adding me on Instagram. My posts are pretty much daily. For most of us, there is no doubt that reaching millionaire status is a goal because it allows us to control our own destiny and finally have the freedom to control and live life on our own terms. And at the same time, as humans, we're all creatures of habit. In this video, I'm going to present 5 habits that make it impossible to become a millionaire. And stick around to number 5. I think that you'll find that that is going to be the most impactful habit on this list. So you want the luxury car, waterfront penthouse, and millionaire status. Or maybe you just want to achieve financial freedom so that you can finally control your own destiny and control your own time. Or maybe you're just sick and tired of your boss breathing down your neck. There is no doubt that becoming a millionaire creates a ton of benefits, including the ability to control your own destiny, your own future, and to create time freedom so that you can do what you want with your limited time on this earth. Before we get started, let's bust a couple myths. I can't become a millionaire because the majority of millionaires inherit their money. Actually, it was found in a recent survey that 68% of the richest people in the world are self-made. But Dave, you got to get lucky to become an overnight millionaire or hit the lottery or something. On average, it takes 32 years to become a self-made millionaire. In reality, there is rarely such a thing as an overnight millionaire. So the overnight millionaire that the social media channels like to sell you is really just a story that is made up. The average millionaire taking 32 years is the real story. It takes time and consistent effort and discipline to become a millionaire. Spending your entire paycheck. In March of 2023, a survey was done that found that as much as 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And this is a problem that also affects high earners earning over $100,000 a year, with as much as 56% of high earners reporting living paycheck to paycheck. Your paycheck is your #1 wealth building tool, but it's not what you earn, it's what you keep. And in reality, what we earn is only a portion of the equation. We must invest in appreciating assets to build wealth if we want to become a millionaire. So spending more than you earn is the quickest way to hurt your chances of becoming a millionaire. Prioritizing appearing rich over building wealth. Giving your ego the power to make financial decisions is the quickest way to ruin your financial life. So I say, check your ego before it makes you a slave to it. As a banker, having access to people's financial accounts and helping them on a day-to-day basis, it always was a little bit shocking to see the other side, the behind the scenes picture of what people's financial lives really look like. You see folks with the new car, the new house, the new boat, the new camper, going on trips every single weekend, it feels like, just splurging constantly. It looks great, but the reality, the keeping up with the Joneses way, is the broke approach to financial life and really to life in general. If you want to become a millionaire, do not do what the masses are doing. Do not keep up with the Joneses. Don't compare to what they're doing, because the reality is most likely they are broke. Run your race. Ignore what everyone else is doing. Everyone starts in a different place and everyone faces different challenges. So focus on your race and run your race, and don't get caught up in comparing yourselves to other people, because your goals could be very different than theirs. Keeping bad debt around. There's no surprise that things like credit cards with an average annual interest rate of 20% will hurt your chances of becoming a millionaire. These things eat away at wealth, and they do more to destroy your wealth, and really they're hustling backwards. But there's also things that are maybe not quite as obvious. So for example, purchasing a new car that loses on average 20% of its value the day that you drive it off the lot, and then gets you upside down on a loan to the point to where when you need to later on sell that asset, you then lose more money than the car is actually worth. So the moral of the story on this one is not all debt is created equal. There are assets that appreciate in value and can build your wealth, like real estate, and then there are other assets that depreciate in value. For example, cars, boats, and things that just on average go down in value. So if you're investing in those things instead of investing in the things that appreciate in value, you are actually hustling backwards. So the key is to go ahead and to tackle those things as early as possible. Tackle that high interest rate debt, put extra savings towards it, and go ahead and try to whittle those balances down and knock those out as quickly as possible so that they don't hurt your ability to build wealth. Leasing when you can afford to own. Not everyone can afford to own, and not everyone is in a situation that makes sense to own. There are financial situations that do not make sense to own. There are business situations where leasing makes more sense, whether it be for a tax write-off. Maybe someone's transitioning to a new city and they want to make sure that that city is the right fit for them. There are many situations, and only you can choose if it is the right time and if you can afford it. But I will say this, if you can afford it, then you should certainly consider owning over leasing. It is a common misconception that the majority of millionaires are built through investing in the stock market, when in fact many surveys have calculated that actually up to about 90% of self-made millionaires are that way because of investing in real estate. And when I say investing, I'm talking about their primary residence. So they're not even investing in fixing and flipping houses. They're not having rentals. This is actually just owning a primary residence and that home appreciating in value over time, and then building wealth in the process of simply just owning their home. So again, if you're not in the position to be able to buy a home, there's no shame in that. But if you are in a position to be able to do that, then you should certainly consider it, because it is the #1 asset in terms of appreciation and value. And so the ability to build wealth through real estate is just unmatched, and the risk is so low that if you can afford it, you want to do it. Dave, can I actually afford to own the home? That is a great question. I'm going to go ahead and drop a chart right here that will show you whether you can afford it or whether you can. And lastly, not investing to build wealth. You can't become a millionaire with labor alone. It's an absolute truth that your money has to go to work for you. And so this is why we must invest at least 20% of our annual income to build wealth in appreciating assets. Now, you get to choose based on your risk appetite and what you feel comfortable in, but I'm here to tell you, if you catch yourself in a position where you're overthinking or you're in analysis paralysis, then you're doing it all wrong. There are varying levels of assets that appreciate in value, and there are varying levels of investments in terms of how active you need to be in them. You can go from completely passive in things like index funds that return on average 10% annually since the beginning of time in the S&P 500. So to give you an example, that means every $1 that you invest would turn into, on average, $88 by the time that you retire. And that is a completely passive investment strategy. You simply set up the contributions and that money builds over time and it grows. You could look at real estate, which we alluded to earlier. This can be through owning a primary residence. This could be even more active through something like fixing homes or even through owning rentals. This could also be through something even more active like a small business. The reality is the choice is yours based on your lifestyle and what makes sense to you. But the important point here is to invest in appreciating assets and to get in early and to start where you are. Again, run your race. Time in the market beats timing the market. So it is more important that you start where you are than it is to maximize the amount of money that you have right at this moment. You can always build up, you can always grow your investments, and you can always expand into other investments later on. But what is important is time. So the reminder here is we must invest to build wealth. And secondly, time in the market is the most critical factor. It is more important than how much money you have or where you start or really anything else when it comes to building wealth over the long haul. So take these 5 habits, and if you see these in your financial life, it is a great idea to cut these out, because any one of these is hustling backwards if your goal is to build wealth over the long haul. What bad money habit do you think keeps most people from reaching millionaire status? Drop it in the comments below. If you found value in today's video, like and subscribe for all the tips, tricks, and motivation to win in financial life. Consider adding me on Instagram. My posts are pretty much daily. Until next time.